and Kaylee, you get all three of us. It's like a threesome.
Nice.
Oh, and we are live.
We're live. Can we turn
Nobody
those
heard that,
levels
huh?
up though a little bit? I can't hear shit. Can you?
I can. I'm good. You might need to get your headphones turned up.
I
Check,
think it's
check.
time for some hearing aids.
Microphone check out 1 2 check out.
Up, uppity up. That's better.
Is that better?
Yeah, a
Good.
little bit.
You
Okay.
Good? You good? Okay. Welcome back, everybody. Episode 4 of On the Road with Behind the ToolBelt, Win the Storm 2024. I'm here with my good friend Eric O. and our other friend Kaylee with Win the Storm. Eric, honest opinion. You can't answer this because you're going to be biased. What is your perception or opinion of Win the Storm 2024 thus far?
I have not been able to go out on the floor yet to like see anything in the deal because I've been filming all
Yeah.
my stuff myself.
Mhm.
What I will say is that I'm happy at the turnout, especially considering there was a fucking hailstorm last night in Dallas. Like, so that's shitty for turnout generally.
Yep.
I'm happy with turnout. Everything that I'm hearing feedback wise on the floor has been very, very good. The overall feeling is significantly different and better, I would definitely say. Because I'll be completely honest, like when this all started, I remember Lindsay called me and she was like, did you give me any feedback, any advice, any whatever? And I was like, first thing is, you're doing this on a very fucking short time to put this together. I was like, and this is your chance, so don't fuck it up, because if you do, you're not going to get another fucking chance. Right? Like, because everybody will say, fuck you if you fuck it up this time.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Like, they won't come back. So I'm happy for everybody that put it on. Like, I'm friends with and care about everybody that was part of this organization that took it over, and like I just really wanted to see them succeed. I think that the way that everything came together, I'm sure that they're all gonna say, hey, I wish this would have went this way, and
Of
blah
course.
blah blah.
Yeah.
That's every show. But I think at the end of the day, you have to be happy with what happened here, with the people that did show up. Good people showed up, and I think that it's really going to give them something to build on into the future.
Yeah. No, that's a great point. And Kaylee, you've been with Win the Storm for what,
8 years.
8 years. Amazing. Absolutely amazing. So what would you say that is different about it this year compared to previous years? The dislikes, the pros, the cons. Give us the whole gamut.
Less
Give us your
cocaine.
opinion. Yeah. Yeah.
What?
Less cocaine?
Less
I think so.
Okay, well, there's going to be cocaine no matter where you go.
But there's less. I'm just saying there's
a lot
less. Yeah.
Not Vegas,
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
not like a party house.
Yeah.
Everything's like family, kid friendly.
Mm-hmm.
It's really cool getting feedback. A lot of it's been like very, very, very positive. Like I feel like everything, even as a staff on my side, like everything's been running very smoothly.
Yeah.
Like I'm not like overwhelmed, but I'm like in 20 different places at once.
Well, you have good staff now.
We do, and we have a lot more staff like in place for like what somebody over vendors, somebody over speakers. We have like people guarding our booth. We have registration, so we have just like this big team now.
Yeah.
And then with that, like with Josie like in charge and just like the new like values and like how we structured everything, it's like it's made it so much easier, and I think we've got like a lot of positive results from that.
100%. I mean, we felt the difference. I mean, we're not here selling stuff. Okay, so
Right.
so we're under a little bit of a different circumstances. I mean, last year we had fun. Every year that we've ever came, we've had fun. But my personal opinion of I was concerned because it was such a short time frame to throw this
Yeah.
thing together. So I'm like, damn it, yeah, because I felt for everybody that was involved with this. So I thought, man, I hope they gave themselves enough time to do this. We got here, the professionalism stood out to me first and foremost. The communication with everybody. Could I say, was there a hiccup or two here and there? The Wi-Fi, that has nothing to do with Win the Storm,
Right.
Josie, Kaylee, anybody like that. That's to do with the IT people or whatever their internet provider is. I mean, we didn't make a big deal out of it. It happens, big deal. You know what I mean? We rely heavily on that. They made it right.
You did almost leave though.
What?
Now that
Come on, that's a great fucking story.
Let's talk
Oh
about
wait,
it.
sorry, this isn't my show. We don't talk about everything. Sorry, my
Yeah,
bad.
no, well,
Podcast,
we
move
do.
on.
We do talk about just about everything. Okay, so I'm not here yet. So okay,
You don't
so
know the story.
I think some of
No,
it.
I'm ready.
let's tell the whole story.
Yeah.
You
Okay,
almost left
'cause-
since you've been here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We did. We did.
I do want to know.
And again, before we start this, it has nothing to do with leadership
No.
or Win the Storm.
Okay.
That's why it's a
FAG.
good story.
Yep, nothing like that whatsoever. Actually, you guys made it better. So, long story short, I'll try. That's Mike the Hammer's.
Never.
favorite-
Anytime
favorite
somebody
saying,
says I'm
long
going to be
story short.
honest with you, they're getting ready to lie to you. And if they say long story short, it means it's going to be a long ass fucking story.
Yes, and I'm pretty
Go on.
long-winded. Okay.
Let me take a sip of.
Yeah, get ready.
Get hydrated. for
Wake
this
myself
one.
up a little
Yeah,
bit.
strap in.
So we got here Tuesday. Okay, so we've been here since Tuesday. Wednesday comes rolling around. I got the days mixed up of like when it started and stuff like that. But we get in a day or two earlier than actual setup because we started shipping our stuff, knowing that about 50% of the time we can actually get in the day before actual setup. So that's what we did. So we got here Tuesday, Wednesday evening, we decided to set the scaffolding up. So, and I think that's where mistake number one happened because we know how unions work. We know how, other event coordinator things work like that. But we tried to get in here as soon as we can because this is a good 16-hour setup.
Yeah.
No matter how many times we've done it, we always add things. It gets bigger. So it takes a little bit longer, no matter how many times we do it. So anyhow, doors open. Was it Wednesday morning, Thursday morning? Doors open for the vendors to start loading in on Thursday morning. So I'm in line up at registration. Actually, I'm on my way down here. Daniel, I think the event coordinator, is like, hey, you got to go register first.
Paul.
Paul, yeah,
Okay.
maybe Paul. Maybe we should have kept it fictional names.
Oh,
Paul.
Billy.
Yeah, Billy. So Billy, I passed Billy in the hallway. Turn around, I go back, and I got this laundry list of registration numbers. And I'm not a very clerical kind of guy to deal with. So I was like, okay. So I stand in line. Vic, my phone's blowing up. Vic's like, you're going to want to get down here. I'm like, okay, why? Actually, no. I ran into, I think, Richie. Or was it you? Anyhow, fictional names. So I ran into Bobby. Bobby says to me, you're going to want to get down there. I was like, why? They're not going to let you use your monitors unless you lease their monitors. I'm like, nah, we'll get through that. That's impossible. Second phone call comes in. Mind you, my anxiety's through the roof because I'm registering 10 to 12 people. I need to know their email addresses. I need to know their phone numbers. And I'm thinking this isn't going to be such a big deal because I'll just throw my name, email.
Can't do that.
And no,
tried that before.
Already exists.
Yep.
It's kicking me out. So I'm texting everybody. Phone's blowing up, ringing, carrying on, bells, whistles, notifications, all kinds of shit. So I called John. I'm like, John, can you come down here and relieve me of the registration detail that I put myself on? Because I don't have an assistant.
Right. Do your fucking admin work, Ty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
try doing that times like 1,000.
Yeah, I can't even imagine. Here, I'm complaining about this shit, right? And you guys went through all that. So anyhow, Vic calls me up and says, they're not going to let us use our trusses. I was like, what? No, because we didn't use their trusses. They didn't set them up. I was like, all right, I'm on my way. John comes in. I got 2 more registrations to do. So I'm, meanwhile, in the midst of all this horse shit, I'm grinding through, putting 5555555 in for phone numbers 1111111 through
At gofuckyourself.com.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So I finally ground through that. I printed out everybody's name. Everybody's happy. I forgot to do my own and Rockets. Get down here. And they're having a meeting of the minds. The Win the Storm crew, Encore, and Billy. So Billy's up there with, and they come down here, and they're like, well, you can't do this, and you can't do that, and you can't do this, and you can't do that. And I was like, well, listen, if we can't put our 485-inch monitors up, we're going home. Because with all the horse shit that you told me that we're going to have to do to change is going to create a lot more work than it would be for me to tear this down and go back to Pennsylvania. Whoa. We don't want you to do that. So they went back. They had another little meeting of the minds. They came back. Some other dude showed up. Phil came down and is like, all right, so listen. So he starts explaining to me why it has to be done this way. He's like, your monitors have to be on the post. So I'm listening to him. He's like, all right, so it's not a money grab. It's a safety thing.
It's like a fire marshal approval.
Yep,
probably.
legitly safety thing. And I'm like, okay. I was like, well, what about the 485? She's like, well, get them set up and I'll come back down and I'll inspect them. I explained to him what it was. We showed him what they were. And he was like, all right, go ahead and do it. Well, then, shit. Fictitious name Cindy comes over here that works for Wind the Storm, says, listen, if you need anything, you let me know. Go ahead and get your stuff set up. I'm like, well, we're going to need this, we're going to need that, we'll need this, we'll need that, because I thought the setup was going to have to look totally different. She's like, look, it's on us. She was willing to pay for anything that we needed. Long story short, I am trying to wrap this thing up. Okay.
Just kidding.
You're right. So anyhow, long story short, we finishing setting things up. Fire Marshal Bill comes down and inspects our thing, and he's like, I love it. And honestly, I think we gave them an idea of how they may start setting their equipment up. So kudos to the team for setting things up very professionally, and that Encore is now going to probably set their things up the way that we set things
I'd
up.
send them a fucking bill
I might.
for education.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. So that was my almost went home story.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad we were able to work it out.
Totally. And listen, it was Wind the Storm, the team from Wind the Storm. So Josie, fictitious name, the dude that runs this thing.
Call it Jody.
Close enough.
Yeah, I get the J and the P mixed up sometimes.
Joby.
Posey.
Yeah. As long as you don't get the B
Darks.
and the P mixed up,
Yeah,
you'll be
right.
okay.
Yeah, right. Big shout out to him and the team,
Yeah.
because everyone gives a shit, and that's half the battle of any organization that you're trying to manage.
Well, let's
lead.
compare the difference between Past Wind the Storms. Past Wind the Storms, the staff wanted to fucking kill themselves.
That's true.
It was
Yes.
definitely
You don't have to comment, but like, it's an absolute fucking fact, right? Everybody wanted to either drink themselves to death or jump off a fucking bridge.
There was just a lot of miscommunication, and everybody just kind of in the past would do their own thing, and like there was a lot of like people that would work on something really hard, and then somebody would come in and ruin the whole entire thing. And like
Yeah.
I know a lot of people got like promised a lot, and then it was very under delivered. And I know I've tried for years just to try to make it right with everybody, and like just make sure I take care of them. If they need anything, they can
Right.
come to me, fix it. But it's like there's only so much I can do when it's not like my money out of my pocket, you know.
Yes.
But it's like you can't do that to people. So
No.
um,
Yeah, no. So you definitely, in years past, you've always done the best that you could do with what you had to work with. And when you were talking, obviously Eric and I like to talk about leadership, and I call that an Indian giver leader. Okay.
Oh boy, that's gonna get you canceled.
Right.
Indian giver.
Well, I mean,
I would explain.
we all know what an Indian giver is. You give somebody something, but you take it back from them. So if you're delegating,
And what's the basis behind that?
okay, so
Is this
like
I'm
something
just
like
giving you shit.
inappropriate
Don't,
or what?
yeah, don't go into it. Yeah,
Native American
He's
giver.
like keeping it
yeah.
straight.
No,
that-
I'm just.
Okay, I'm partially Native American. So
Are you? Oh, so you're allowed to.
I'm allowed
He's
to.
like trying not
Perfect.
to laugh,
But-
and he's
but
I
like,
think
listen,
people are gonna want to see your
listen,
card.
You did hurt my feelings, though.
I did.
Yeah,
Huh. And
Yeah.
I'm not even the motherfucker that said it.
I'm just.
Eric
Okay.
hurting somebody's feelings?
Yeah,
I've
right?
never.
Never.
Sorry, go on.
Ever.
Go on with the Indian
Okay,
giver.
well, it's like you give somebody something, a task to do,
Yeah.
and they work really hard on it. Then you come in and critique it, or you take
Oh,
it back
yeah,
to them,
yeah,
get out of the
yeah.
way.
Yep.
That is one of the worst forms of leadership that you could ever do.
Yeah.
By removing the power once they felt like they were empowered to do that job or task, right? And I felt like that's what you were saying there, because I've been that leader where I've come in, hey guys, go set this up, and came in and I was like, no, I don't like this, I don't like this, I don't like that. Well, first and foremost, one, I'm not allowing them to make mistakes.
Right.
There's a difference between like constructive criticism, like
Right.
I can't say the word criticism,
Right.
and
Yeah.
then like totally just changing something, and then like I don't know. I know he previous owner was on a podcast with I think it was Dimitri, and he was talking about the new Wind the Storm. It was just kind of like one of the things that sat with me was like not like he never said the word team. Like I appreciate him. He made a great platform. Like
Yeah.
he did a lot, brought the industry together. Like it was great. But it was just kind of like now I feel like we're very much a team.
Yeah.
And everybody like works very well together. And
It's cool to have a
Josie's
team.
done, yes.
Yeah.
And it's like I haven't been used to that, so I'm like
Right.
it's a crazy feeling.
Yeah.
So
Teams are good.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and you talk about that all the time. Elaborate more on why team is so important.
I think it comes back to, I think it always comes back to ego, right? And I mean, I guess that always just comes from us being in recovery and whatever, right? But I think that if you truly believe that you can rely on your team, you're taking away the ego side of it, right? And anybody that feels the need to be able to have to micromanage or not allow a team to have that sense of unity and purpose, right? It's because it's so ego driven to have that. When you have a team that's like working together for a single purpose, and then other people are picking up the slack when somebody else might fall down, right? That's when you know you have a team. When you don't have people that come into a room and say, well, that's not my job. Fuck you. Your job is whatever needs to get done and to help the guy next to you, right? And of course, I'm the asshole that everything's a sports analogy, right? But it's like, if your guy falls down to your left, you're not just going to stand there and look at him and be like, well, fuck, guess the guy's getting through,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
You fucking step over and you make the block, or
Yeah.
you do whatever it is, whatever
Make the
sport it
play.
is that you're playing, right?
Yep.
But like, you don't just watch and be like, well, it's not my job. Guess you fucked up and we're going to lose now, right? You step up and you fill the gap, you fill the hole in whatever's happening to help your team out, to help your family out. And when you create that type of culture inside of an organization, that's how you flourish,
Yeah.
right? That's how you grow and that's how you flourish. And when you start doing that, and the fact that something like that could happen that fast that you're saying,
Yeah.
I think that's very indicative of what is happening here and hopefully continues to grow into the future.
Yeah, I feel like it's definitely like shown here, like how hard, like all of us have been up to like, we're all running off like 1 hour
Yeah.
of sleep at night up till 4 a.m. People are like, go to bed, or like,
Right.
why did you text me at 3 a.m? It's like, we're all up and we're rocking and we're rolling, but we all care and we're
But
all
you're doing
working
it because you
so
care and
hard.
you want to make sure that they're getting what they need
It's
done and you
different
want to
when
help
you
them.
care,
Right.
like, and you're passionate about
Yep.
it. It's like, then you have something to
You're not
fight
doing
for.
it because you're afraid of getting fired.
No, I'm doing it because
That's the
I'm
different
doing it because
feeling, right?
like 8 years, like it took me a long time to like meet all these people and get involved with everybody, and it's like, it's also like my reputation on the line. Like, I don't want to do anything bad. Like, I care about it. I care about everybody here. I love doing this, so it's just like, you know, I put my heart, my soul into it.
And that shows, and it's obvious that you have. I mean, you've accommodated us along with the rest of your teammates here. And Erica, when you were talking, I thought, God, what a way to paralyze the company and shorten the growth of your company by leading that way in a negative light where ego gets in the way. It's not being done the way that I think it should be done, and not empowering your team to make decisions so they can gain that passion where they give a shit, where they'll stay up till 4 a.m. in the morning
Yeah.
to work passionately because they've been empowered.
But but in the same breath, I understand it,
I do too.
because at the end of the day, you're still the one that has to fucking answer for the screw ups.
Listen,
right?
you're going to take the blame.
Right.
Right.
So like,
They get the credit for everything.
So I get it.
So if yes, and I get that too. So there's
Yeah.
like a catch-22 there.
Yep.
Okay. Is that if you're living by the mantra, you take the blame, they get the credit for everything. Well, then I'm going to take the blame if
Yeah.
you screw this up.
Again, sports analogy.
Yeah.
If the Chiefs lose, which we don't, but if the Chiefs lose,
No, we do not like the Chiefs here.
If,
No.
if the Chiefs lose, though, who lost the fucking game? Mahomes,
Yeah.
right? But if they win the game, what's Mahomes' record against so and so and so and so? Motherfucker, it's the team, right? The team won the fucking game.
Yeah.
The quarterback didn't win. He might have made some plays,
Yeah.
right? He's an amazing player,
Right.
right? But the quarterback doesn't win or lose
Right.
the games. The team does. But he's the one that takes the blame or gets the win,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
And so in that example,
Yeah.
I understand it, but it doesn't make it right.
No.
Does that make sense?
100%.
If
I know exactly
phrase
what you're
that
talking
right?
about because they're not counting how many times his teammates fumbled the ball if they lost the game. Right? They're saying that how
Or
many
every
missed
block that
passes.
got missed.
Yeah,
Or- yeah,
right,
exactly.
right,
All the
right.
little things. It's all the
Exactly.
little things that add up, right?
Yeah.
And I would think that an event like this isn't made successful by the 5 large things that happen, right? Like, we got 3 great speakers. Well, congratulations. There was 97 other little things that had to happen before that could even occur.
Yeah,
right?
Just,
And it's like,
just
those-
like putting in those emails and phone numbers for everybody to
Right.
get registered in tickets,
Right.
small thing, or even like anything that you see that's printed or anything like that. It's like there's so many logistics and like small things that go
Exactly.
into it that are so time consuming. And
Yep.
everybody, like when you have like,
but they have to be done.
I get one person like, yeah, hey, I want to know what time I'm speaking, but it's like I have 200 other people saying that, and then I have people like canceling on me or changing something, or everything's like not solidified. So it's like,
Yeah.
like I'm one person, but it's like I'm trying my best to give you an answer. You
Yeah.
know? But there is so many other things.
So many
that,
little things that need to be done.
Very
And,
little.
and people only notice the big, right?
Yeah.
People only notice the fucking touchdown pass, right? They didn't see the 5 plays that had to be set up before the touchdown to make sure that that one worked
Yeah.
to set that play
or
up.
the
Absolutely.
practice beforehand,
Yeah,
how
or
many hours
any of
they
the
put
hard
into
work
it.
that
Yeah.
had to go in
Yes.
so that that play could work and that everything that went on the stage went off without a hitch.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And right now, unfortunately, you guys are building up that trust bank right now.
Yep.
So once you get that, and unfortunately, the trust bank before was depleted. Let's face it. So
Yeah.
everything was under the microscope. Any little mistake that happened was just this big magnified, blown out of proportion, and probably half of it, right? That may have went wrong last year compared to this year. This year, you guys are building up. You're cashing that check that your ass just wrote.
Yeah, and I told Josie like beforehand, I was like, it's gonna take this year as like a trial run, like given how like last year like disappointed a lot of people, but I was
What
in
was
it.
there,
I
like
was
32
I was in it.
people
I
last
was in
year?
it with you guys. I'm sorry.
Were you here last year?
But
Yeah.
there was also like spring break was happening there. It was in Florida on the beach. There was also like people throwing events like at the exact same time, like pulling people off the floor. But like there was just so much stuff going on. Like
There was a storm. I
dropped the
think
ball on stuff.
Florida just got hit with a storm or two.
and that happened too. So
Like yeah.
Yeah.
So there was it was that unfortunately it was a recipe for disaster.
yeah. So I mean that after that, like a lot of and people just like getting screwed over in the past. It was just
Yeah.
like this is definitely like that trial run. But it was
Yeah.
cool because like in the last month or so, like our ticket sales like spiked so much. Like our attendee went up thousands, and then like just seeing like the domino effect or butterfly effect or whatever
Yeah,
it's called, like
right.
just of like people like started referring us back to their friends and people that are like, I wrote this off 3 years ago. Now they're back in it and they're just
Right.
like, wow, this is like great. Like I'm gonna give it another try. So it's really cool to actually see that like the industry like coming together, like how we want to make it a community and like just supporting us and like supporting everyone else.
Yeah.
Well, and I was saying, I just did an interview with Dee Taggart, and we were talking about the fact that like this was the first show I ever came to, and I went to. You weren't around then, I don't think, because my
it
first
Vegas?
show. No, my first show was Miami.
Yeah, that
That was at the
fun.
whorehouse. Like it was literally in like like an old brothel.
Was that the one with like 80 people?
No. There was a lot of people there. There was a lot of people there, but like locations got moved at the last minute. Nobody knew where it was. Ended up being like under a bridge somewhere, and there was like
that.
homeless people everywhere, and fucking like it was. You couldn't leave the premises because they're like, no, don't go outside the gate. We're like, what the fuck? And you're walking down a hallway, and you're like, oh. And then I found out later it was an old brothel, and I was like, oh yeah, that was a fuck room over there. Like it was for real. It was crazy.
What?
But my point of that was, not that, but my point of that was is that was my first experience of a conference, right? It was the first time I went there with an intention of like, I need to find software. I need to find, like, back then, this was 2015, 16, something like that. Like, I didn't know what appraisal was, right? And like, I went to go learn what those things were. I went to go like meet people. Like, I didn't fucking know anybody. No one. I brought one sales guy with me. I didn't know anybody. And like, that was my first experience. And I kept going back and back and back every year. And I made some friends that are still some of my closest friends today because of going to that event, right? And starting off. And so, other than the fact that I love all the people that like bought this and put it back together again, and I've known all of those people for years, right? Like, there's nobody I trust more, honest to God, than Lindsay, right?
Yes,
and
she's
honestly,
amazing.
I mean, I'll be completely frank, and if Lindsay ever sees this, but you can tell her, like, she's the reason that I'm here. 100%. I've known her for 5-6 years, and she has poured into me, and like, she's been an amazing human to be around. And if it wasn't for her, I may or may not have come, and I'm genuinely happy that I did, because I want to be able to help create that change and help create that momentum and like continue bringing it all back together again, because I think that's really, I just really think it's important.
Yeah, it is important. And what you bring and offer to us, like this morning, we had a great outcome. I feel like this morning in your meeting.
Yeah,
You know,
I think that was great.
yeah.
We had a roofers and recovery meeting at 7:30 this morning. We had 15, 18 people show
Yeah,
up,
it was great.
which was great. It was interesting. We had some people show up that like didn't know what the fuck they were showing up to.
Yeah,
I think
that was
weird.
Josie's parents.
Well, yeah, I forgot it. Well, his dad, wasn't
His
it?
mom and dad walked in.
Oh, I didn't see his mom.
Yeah, she walked in briefly, turned around, walked out.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think she was
probably
looking
because
for
I
Maybe she saw you and then
probably
she was
because
like,
I started
can't-
talking.
yeah.
That was when
Probably
he
a good
left.
thing. Yeah, it was probably
That
a
was
good
when
thing
he
that she
left. Was when I
Yeah.
started talking.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
when I opened the meeting up. Yeah. But that was very interesting. Normally on a day one of a conference, we get like 8 people that show up, and then usually by day 2, people walk by the booth, and then we'll get them to come to the meeting in the morning or
Yeah.
whatever, and that's always nice. So I'm excited to see
Yeah.
who we have show up tomorrow. But what a great way to start the day, right?
Yeah,
and to have it be supported here is the other thing that's important.
Huge.
Yeah.
And it is very supported. You know, I know we support what you do because we're involved with this. You know what I mean? And this is going back to like our first roofing conference was a Wind the Storm conference. Not only was it our first, it was where we met roofers in recovery. So went there, didn't know what to expect, loved it, fell in love with it, because honestly felt for the first time in my life that I'm not alone in this anymore. Okay, on the roofing business, entrepreneur side, went there, saw all these amazing people. There was the bad side of the building. There was like the good side of the building. There was like a divide of like, you know, the cocaine and hookers over here, and then those of us trying to do the next right thing. Not that those people weren't, but it was amazing. Got to listen to a lot of amazing speakers, learned so much from it. And then as we're walking through the expo floor, there was this, we saw this sign a couple times that kind of had like an AA
Type symbol.
type of symbol, and it said roofers in recovery, but like being at like an insurance storm, you know, function, it was like, is it like insurance recovery? Is it
Right.
Is it,
Oh, I never thought of it that way.
yeah, so that was our first kind of thing. So we kind of kept like walking by and was like, are they talking about insurance shit, or is this like
Right.
an AA meeting that's going on the expo floor right now, or recovery meeting on the expo floor right now? Jana's the one that grew the balls and walked over to you guys like, hey, like what are you guys doing over here? Like what's going
Yeah.
on? And I don't know if it was you or Paul, but we're super excited. Like, yeah, we're roofers in recovery.
Right.
And explained to it. So I think we signed up for like some email list or something. And like we were super, super excited because one, we're at a roofing conference, and two, to add another layer of icing on top of the cake was like, dude, and there's recovery here.
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So it was like, this is where it all began for us, because, you know, this is what has opened our eyes to, you know, whether it being podcast, personal brand, professional brand, like all of the things that, you know, being a chuck in a truck in northern east, you know, Pennsylvania, east coast, wherever the hell we live now. Like we didn't hear about those things. We
Right.
didn't talk about those things. We didn't know people were talking about, you know, scaling their businesses to 9 figures.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like we didn't even know that really existed. I mean, we thought we were hot shit, you know, on a silver platter, but really when we went into that room, we felt great, but really we found out that we were a cold turd on a paper plate compared to the size of the companies that were here, and it really helped propel us. And so we kept coming back. We found out what other conferences were going on, and we found like the community, like holy shit, there's a community outside of York, Pennsylvania that are trying to scale their businesses, trying to run ethical business practices, and just all kinds of things that helped us, not just personally, but also professionally grow our business and scale our business. But the most important thing was, and you touched on this earlier, Erica, was the relationships,
Yeah.
the people that I met, that I'm still friends with today. We're still friends today from that. And that was 5, 6, I think it was Las Vegas where
Yeah.
I met you guys, or
Yeah.
someplace. And it, like, we've stayed in touch since then, more now than, more now
the cool
than then.
community that we built because of it.
Yeah, you know what I mean. So, and for me, that it all started with the Phoenix. Right
Yep.
now, I'm calling Wind the Storm like the Phoenix as it's rising out of the ashes, right? And I'm grateful to be a part of this right now because let's face it, the roofing industry is in a really cool transitional and has been for a minute. But this just solidifies the direction that we're all a huge group of us are really trying to make this place better than it was when we found it.
Yep.
And with this conference being, I don't know if we're going to do any more after this or not, but
Well, I'm done for a while.
yeah, I'm grateful that we did come because we were also on the fence.
Yeah.
Like, are we going to go? Are we not going to go? I'm tired. We traveled a lot. It's
Yeah.
like, do we really need to do this? Hammer kept calling me. A couple other people kept calling me. I was like, hey, we really want you on air. Josie called me. I don't even know how many. Just not even asking me to come here,
Yeah.
but asking me for advice.
Yeah.
And I thought, you know what? I think I could like this dude. I met him at RoofCon. They planted the seed there with me there. He stayed in touch with me then. Hammer reached out to me a couple times, like, hey, Josie wants to come on your podcast. I was like, okay. So then we got him on the week before last week. I think it was last week or the week before. We got Josie on the podcast and just listening to him and his passion and his voice. And I got to sit in a couple of Zoom meetings and stuff with him. I don't think he's bullshit. If anybody was questioning, like, is
Yeah.
No, he cares.
my
too.
personal opinion, I honestly, I don't think he's bullshit. And
Yeah.
yes, he's got me duped. And I got a pretty good judge of character. And I think this dude's sincere. And what's even cooler, dude, is I got to ride the elevator down this morning with his parents. And how humble and cute and sweet and adorable they are and
Well, you
proud.
get nice people in the elevator. I
And-
get fucking weirdos.
and
that-
proud
Sorority
of
party
him.
going on.
no, just fucking weirdos that stalk
Well,
me.
that was
Yeah.
probably the first time in a long time that I've actually had normal
Yeah,
people
congratulations.
standing
Yeah,
next to me. And it happened to be his parents. And he was so humble. He's like, hey, I'm Billy.
Right.
You know, I'm Josie's dad.
Yeah.
And I was like, no shit. And
Yeah.
I got to I walked into the room with them and I told them, I was like, this is a meeting, but I don't think it's the meeting that you're looking for. I think they were looking for Jeff Richfield.
Oh, that
Because she had her Bible.
Yeah.
She had her
Yeah.
Bible with her. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So
Yeah.
obviously these kids had a good upbringing.
Right.
Well, and then like they've been backstage before, like every speaker and like Zonti and the keynotes and everything, and his dad's back there like praying with them, like wishing them luck before they go up on stage. So
Oh, that's cool.
it's really cool. Like they've been back there like a lot, and it was super
Yeah.
cool to see. And then
That-
yesterday it was cute because Josie had his wife back there, and then his like 4 boys came back there, and they're like, "Oh, we get to go see our dad!" Like after he
that's cool.
talked, and like their parents were back there,
Yeah.
so it was really cool.
That's what it's all
It
about.
was,
Yeah,
I
that
know.
makes
I was
it
like
fun.
so happy
Yeah.
for them. Yeah.
That's good stuff, man. So it's changing.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say it's changed. You know,
Yeah.
let's get day 2 under our belt here.
Right.
But I mean, our perception and my team would solidify this. You guys are crushing it. I mean,
Yeah.
just
Well,
everything.
I would
you.
agree. You've done a good job.
Yeah.
you.
Yeah, you've done a good job. And I'd be the first motherfucker to tell you you would.
For sure.
like, this
And he would have told
fucking
me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
With the word "fuck" in it.
Yes. Correct.
Yes, absolutely. So what's on the horizon for Wind the Storm? What's next? You know yet?
Like in the future or like this week?
So start with this week, and then let's talk about the future.
This week, at 6 o'clock, 6 to 10, since it's literally storming outside. There's like, it's foggy, it's rainy, thunder, lightning. So I don't even know because you guys haven't even left the floor.
No.
Yeah. I looked out the window. I was like, oh shit, it's raining. But we moved the networking thing inside. So this big ballroom, like right to the left of that, like, what is that bar? The Gossip Bar.
Yeah.
We moved our rodeo event in there.
Okay.
So it's got like a real bull, live music, mechanical bull, real longhorn that you can like take pictures with. And then it's like, it's supposed to be kid friendly. We had like bounce houses and like, I think they'll still fit that in there. I know they're setting it up. Then we have like food and drinks available. So it's just a fun, family friendly activity. Tomorrow, all the breakouts, main stage, everything, that'll take off too, just like today. But it's weird because everybody's like, there's so much traction on the floor this time, and like these 4 breakouts, so like big hit.
Yeah, like you said, there's
they're
lines.
standing
People are standing room
outside
only.
of all the seating areas. So I was like, that's so cool to see.
Mm-hmm.
But we have a lot more like that, a lot of value add. And then that's a wrap for us.
Okay,
Yeah.
so let's talk about the future. Now, before you do, this is just another good plug.
Just so you
for-
know, I've got 5 minutes and I have to go.
Oh, okay, give us the future.
So like, I know Josie, he owns like multiple different companies. I know that in the future, like I know he was planning on doing like multiple different like events like throughout, and then kind of tying into. They've been working really hard on SVG and like renaming it and all the companies underneath it. So I don't play a big role on that part, but I'm not sure what they're doing with it. But I know that's like
fair.
so what
That's
I've heard.
fair. I don't want to get you in trouble or
Yeah.
have you misspeak. Okay.
Yeah, I'm like I don't know. That's just what I've heard, but
Yeah. Okay.
But
I know
you'll
we're
be
looking
here.
towards that. I'll be here.
There you go.
I'll be around.
There you go.
Yeah, that's all
She'll
I'm
be here.
Okay, so one more thing. Instead of canceling the event because it's storming outside with a bull ride and stuff like that, I can't imagine that room probably is going to cost him something to
move it
switch. Yeah,
inside?
to move it inside. So that's just one more plug to say, how easy would it have been to just say, you know what, guys, it's raining, in hopes that everybody would understand that it's raining outside. Obviously, we can't have the bounce houses and
Right.
the mechanical bull ride and the bull, but no, you guys are working your asses off to set this.
Figured it out.
Yeah, and
Yeah, it's been set up all day. There's teams there's like a ton of hotel people in there setting it up. We got like an AV team setting up the big screen, everything. Like everything's. I went in there earlier and there's like a ton of people in there
Good stuff.
making it work.
Yeah,
So.
good stuff. So on that note, let's wrap this up so Eric can go do his next interview. Thank you guys for tuning in. Like, love, subscribe, Facebook, YouTube, Spotify, Google, Apple. See you guys soon.